Howdy, folks. Welcome back to another week of Deck Check here. We are still on the sort of like booster 2.5 BT-20 train.
Purgatory?
Yeah, true. I guess it is purgatory for us. I'm joined by the one and only, the Smurf himself, Ben. And I'll let you decide what that means, whether it be him blue or whether it be he clowns on people that are worse than him at video games. I'll let you decide.
Not a lot of people. Not a lot of people would be clowning on them.
Don't give away our secrets. All right. don't tell them what we're talking about. Anyways, so if you're new here, first time checking out Deck Check, thank you for watching. This is our sort of weekly video series here where we just kind of go over topping deck lists that we found from JP and EN and all over wherever we can find them. Right now we're still focusing on like a lot of the newer decks that are coming out so people can kind of get an idea of what's happening and what's, like what topping lists are looking like. And of course we'll still have our own deck profiles that'll come out for those eventually. But yeah, if you are watching this early though as well, and that means you're a member, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and being cool, being chill. We always appreciate your guys' feedback and being part of supporting us boys on the channel and everything. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. If there's any lists you want us to try and get for you guys, please let us know in the comment section down below, and we will try and do our best to get those lists so that we can show them and you guys can get an idea of what's going on. I think that's all the stuff there. Am I forgetting anything? Oh wait, the YouTuber special. Like and subscribe. If you enjoy this content, like it, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. Think about becoming a member if you'd like to be, so you get early access to our deck profiles and these deck check videos. And that's about it. That's it. Ben, I'm gonna let you start because we're crossing our hearts and hoping to die, or maybe not hoping to die, but it's what we are doing usually.
Well, when I'm playing this deck, sometimes I do. But we've got Xros Heart here, making a return. This was piloted by Kuribo. In JP, this was a shop event. Looks like 8-1. I don't know if that's the record. I would assume that maybe the player pool. I'm not sure. Either or. Got first place, so topped at it, which was pretty neat. For those of you who haven't seen our Xros Heart videos, we've got 2 match plays out on the channel for you guys. I'm still tinkering with how I want the deck to look. I think it's in an interesting spot, because I think there is this sort of fusion of old and new. And this list is really leaning towards the newer Xros Heart pieces,
right?
Which is a good exemplification of how different the playstyle is actually the more you actually start to test and play the deck out. So you have a pretty solid rookie lineup here. You only run 8, which already off the gate makes me feel really nervous. You're really just relying on Shoutmon and Sparrowmon. And they kind of have some nice on deletion effects that help you cycle with some consistency. A lot of the focus on the list is around your tamers, which is Mikey Kudo.
Mikey Kudo. Well-known tamer, Mikey Kudo.
So Mikey, the triple tamer here. It's really neat to see this BT-11 triple tamer come back into relevance. I think when people were playing Cross back in the BT-10 to BT-12 era, you kind of saw this tamer fall off a little bit just because it was really expensive for maybe as less return. But now with how you want your level 5 cross pieces to be underneath your tamers, you really rely on this tamer and Taiki. So you're not even running the old Zenziros and the Akaris. The one of Nene here is, I think, interesting. You essentially is just another you can cross from trash, which is pretty neat too. And it's a memory setter, which is also helpful. The Sepia memory boosts are utilized mainly because you do run a good amount of black and yellow pieces. Your pieces are either black or they have yellow in them. So you're pretty much getting a hit off of the Sepias as long as it's not a tamer. And then the new option card, it's Meteor Rock Soul, or I think Damashi, something was the Japanese name for it, is pretty neat. It's a 3-cost finisher, in my opinion. You really utilize this Damashi option with your EX6 plays because you're able to restand and swing again. So a lot of times you're trying to get early aggression pokes in, go into an EX6, swing for 2 checks, with Alliance because you're playing out a Shooting Starmon off of the Damashi effect. And then when turn passes and you restand, you can go ahead swing again for game. So that's really how the deck wants to operate. So it's less of that like low to the ground, like fast aggression that the traditional cross was like.
Yeah.
And you're really utilizing a lot of your level 4s and level 5s, like I said before, that are tucked underneath your tamers and then can either be used for cross materials or evoed off of when you play out, like, for example, the Shoutmons, the Sparamons, and this list, interestingly enough, isn't even running Starmons, right? Which,
Right.
again, makes me a little bit nervous as a like an older cross player, but like I can see where this deck wants to go. It's a lot more combo reliant, it's a lot more setup reliant, but it has that like kind of like big boom potential as opposed to like low to the ground aggression. So
yeah, the EX6 is honestly a really powerful card. Especially when loaded with all the inheritables. It's just, it's like you said, it takes more setup. It's a bit more combo reliant. So like it just takes time to get there. I do like the Chaosmon Volderon in here too, just like a generic level 7. The partition could actually be cool, like sometimes if you're able to get there. I guess you'll have the Z-Gray under you, huh? When you put the EX6, so your partition will be live all the time if you Digicross the Z-Gray.
Correct. Yep.
So that's still pretty cool. That's neat. But yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else on the list that you wanted to talk about?
No. I mean, I think we'll see how it goes. You know, I think it's definitely a list that I think will take a little bit of time to solve compared to like the older cross lists. Oh, one last thing I will point out before we can move on is that, you know, you're not running any of the traditional like Digicross pieces, right? Like there's no X3, there's no X4, new or old. There's no X5. Again, no old or new ones there either.
Yeah.
So it's really like you're really kind of all in on just tucking stuff, setting up, and trying to like see these rookies, tuck stuff underneath, and then EX6. So that's really the game plan.
It almost feels like Digicrossing is like your final goal in this deck rather than being the main mechanic. As like you know what I mean? How like with like BT-10 Cross Heart, I was like, this is what I'm going to do constantly. I'm going to constantly Digicross things to push aggression and get like added effects. But this is like, I'm gonna just play things and Evo things, and then eventually I will Digicross for my big wombo my big wombo turn.
Right.
So is interesting. All right. Okay. We will go ahead and scoot on to the next deck here. Next up, we have Chaosmon, or Accel is what its trait is. This was piloted by Haruho over in Korea. Got first place at the Tamer Battle, went 4-0, looks like. And I've talked about it before a couple of times now, and I've talked about it in some of our videos. I am so excited for this deck. I know it hasn't been seeing many tops, but I'm a believer, okay? I'm a firm, I think this deck has a lot of potential, right? So we see the brand new egg, the Pinamon. This card is phenomenal, where when any of your Digimon with the Accel trait are played, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with the Accel trait in the hand with the cost reduced by 2. There's a lot of really neat combos you can set up with this card. Of course, you run Uko in there just for some standard search. There's really not like another good rookie because all of your 4s are 3-cost Evo unless you're Digivolving over an Accel trait card. And even then too, like your Accel, like your rookies can only really Evo over the Pinamon because it's the Accel trait egg, and they Evo for 1 over everything else unless it's an Accel trait Digitama. So Uko is just sort of like a natural pick in this deck just to kind of help you find your pieces, give you a little bit of extra aggression, which is pretty good. It's pretty nice. Also, the cool thing too is that technically the Pinamon doesn't have to reduce the Evo cost of the Digimon it's under. It can reduce like any Digimon with the Accel traits Evo cost. So if you have multiple of these on the board, you can actually use their inheritables and stack them to Evo up your line pretty quickly for cheap if you hard drop something. That's assuming you have like an Uko with 1 on board, and then you like have another rookie up or another 4 up, then you like drop something and, you know, do some crazy combo stuff, which I'll probably go over in like a deck profile later. I'm not gonna go too crazy, but it's cool. It's fun. Leomon's just your standard searcher for it. Grabs a Chaosmon and name more of the Accel trait, and then grabs 1 option card with the Accel trait, which is pretty cool. The option card one is not like as huge. It's neat, but you really only have like 1 option card with the Accel trait. It's like it sets you up for some cool combos. I think it's okay. I personally would rather just run a lot more consistency options like boosts, which we do see here. There's 4 in this list. which I would just even run like other one. I'd run like Sepia or something like that to grab even more. Because you can grab yellow or black, right? So you can grab all the cards.
Yeah, with how many like dual color cards we have nowadays, I feel like unless you're running like a pure deck, you're running like the like dual memory boosts.
Right.
So.
Exactly. Falcomon is just your standard sort of thing we've been seeing with a lot of rookies nowadays, where when they digivolve into a card with a specific trait or something in name, they reduce the cost by 1. You'll notice the entire Leomon line side has barrier for the 3s and the 4s, and then the Varaduramon side has piercing for the 3 and the 4s. Leomon is just good board control with giving something minus 3k. Diatri suspends something, which is really nice. Loader Leo gives minus 3k and something can activate when digivolving effects till the end of their turn, which is really cool. Chromon suspends something, gives you plus 3k till the end of your turn, and then lets you attack. The Bancho and Varaduramon are really, really strong. And the 5s and 6s share the same inheritables, where the Leo side lets you redirect attacks into this Digimon. And then the Varadura side lets you minus 4k on something when attacking. Bancho's really nice with the Digivolve 2 because it's a very strong removal effect. You know, not many things have protection from that, and then gives minus 5k DP. So, and DP reduction is also very powerful, especially when stacked with the other DP reduction you have access to in this deck. And then Varadura, you know, lets you suspend all of your opponent's Digimon and all your opponent's Digimon, and one of your Digimon gets plus 3k DP for the turn. And then one of your Digimon may attack, which is really cool. It's really nice. The coolest thing about these cards is their end of turn effect, which is this Digimon and any of your other Digimon may DNA Digivolve into a Digimon card with Chaosmon in its name in the hand. Then the DNA Digivolved Digimon may attack. You can set up so many wonky, funny combos with this whole sort of like slew of effects where you're chaining things constantly all the way up your line. It's almost like reminiscent of Fenry in a way, with how your effects just keep going, especially when you stack it with the Pinamon egg to Evo off of effect. But you can proc a lot of things very quickly and then still get your DNA off, get your DNA Evo effect off, and then, you know, swing with it, which is really powerful. So pretty much 4 copies of all those cards because you really just want full Accel trait consistency with it, right? This Chaosmon is awesome. I love this Chaosmon still. I just think that his biggest issue is that there's just no really good decks for him until now. He's also treated as a boss and D-Brigade, which is really cool. He has barrier, blocker, and partition for yellow level 6 and a black level 6. He has on Evo, Digivolve 3 is huge. And then minusing 8k on something is really nice. And then every time your opponent's turn ends, you trash both yourself and your opponent's top security. So just kind of helps like start burning your opponent. It burns you too, but I mean you have barrier and blocker, so you can be really annoying to get through, especially with 15 KDP. You're a pretty big threshold there. The new Chaosmon of Alderarm is an insane card. Having Sex +1 and partition is awesome. And then the fact that it's when Digivolving effect doesn't require DNA is really nice for just letting you kind of be versatile with your plays. You know, for each of your level 6 Digimon in the sources, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, and then you gain a memory for it. And then until the end of your opponent's turn, none of their Digimon or Tamers can activate on-play effects or unsuspend until the end of the turn, which is huge. It's insane. Being able to stop on-play effects entirely is really, really nice. You kind of just shut your opponent out from hard slamming any counters into it. Now, of course, certain things can get around it, like, you know, like Medieval Gallant, because his is an all-turns effect, and then when Digivolving, it's not non-play, but you get the idea. There's a lot of really cool stuff that this card can do. They're running Winter Alpha or Yukon Ace in there, which is neat. Makes sense. Like, you can, you know, DNA Digivolve into this as well very easily. You can't do the Blast DNA, but that's fine. You don't mind. Just having that sort of, like, ability to recover, trash security, and do a big security neg is really nice, and then being able to, you know, gain memory, steal turn with it, or well, I guess you wouldn't steal turn with this, but, you know, being able to manipulate memory is always good. Give yourself extra memory on your turn, I suppose. TK memory setter makes sense. I mean, all your cards are yellow, so very easy to grab that out of security. Sets you up to be able to play your yellow memory boosts as well, since you have a green egg. That's another thing you have to be careful of, is that your green egg can make you a little bit inconsistent because you will basically need to make sure you have a rookie in the back before you can play your boosts or anything like that. So having the yellow tamer is nice to lock that in. And then we get to the Accel trade option here, which is Singularity of Chaos. This card's neat. I still don't know entirely how I feel about it. I think it's cool. basically, while you have a Digimon with Castmon in its name, or the Accel trait, ignore card color requirements for the card. And then if it gets knocked out of security, you gain a memory added to your hand. So kind of like BT-20 antibody, right? Really good.
Right.
And then main, you can play one Digimon card with the Accel trait from your hand with the cost reduced by 4. Then place this card as any of your Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards. So it basically kind of just sets itself up to be tucked into the DNA that you're probably going to do off playing this. Because I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you can stack this play cost reduction with the play cost reduction of your Varaduramon or your Bancholeomon, which that's something I missed, by the way. But
I believe you can.
Yeah, when they would be played, if you have a Digimon with the Accel trait, you can reduce the play cost by 5. So you can reduce the play cost by 9. So technically, if you're paying 2 to play this, reducing it by 9, you're paying 5 to play a level 6, which is insane. And then being able to DNA, I mean, like your Castmon Valdararm will probably gain you 2 memory back, so it's a 3 cost play. Right. To go into your level 7 and then be able to swing on top of all the other effects you activate moving up to that point. And then Singularity of Chaos also has the inherent effect of end of your opponent's turn. If this Digimon has Castmon in its name, you trash your opponent's top security card, and then you get minus 30 KDP for the turn. Which is pretty insane. Now, the minus 30k, and this, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe because you're reducing your DP and you're being deleted by game mechanic and not by your own effect, technically, I believe you can trigger partition. I think. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not too sure on that one.
That might be a Jarrell
question.
question.
Have to clarify. Yeah, we might have to clarify with that one.
But, or someone can let me know in the comments down below. That one I'm not too sure of. That's one thing I haven't really went with the option yet too much because I just wasn't sure and I haven't bothered to ask because I'm stupid.
Sure.
Look at me. But you know, if that's how it works, cool. If not, then that's still fine. You know, you still like can get a really big explosive turn out of it. But yeah, honestly, I think the deck has a lot of potential. I think it's really, really cool. I'm excited if it sees any more support. I mean, any other Castmons we get will just be nice to have. But even then, I think that it has a lot of potential. And I am excited to playtest around with it. Sorry, I yapped for too long.
Fair enough.
Okay, we'll move on.
Yeah, I'll make this one a little quick.
Sorry.
I mean, Zephaga. No, you're fine. Zephaga. This was run by Aria in Korea. This was at a Tamer battle. Got first place out of a pool of 12. So pretty good showing there. This is a pretty standard Zephaga list. If you haven't checked out the Zephaga list that we had by my buddy Josh on our channel, feel free to check it out. I'll link it in the video description below. An interesting one is the Fluffymon here. You're using the starter deck one as opposed to the EX8 or EX7 one. This one lets you suspend one with as much or less DP when attacking, whereas the other one gains you a memory. I've liked the gain memory one a little bit more just because you do tend to do a lot with Vortex and end of turn swings to whip back turn. But I definitely could see the benefit to this, particularly when you're running cards like, for example, Medieval Gallantmon. You can use a Faga Ace also is going to be really, really strong for this deck. It's like the one addition that Zephaga will be getting come 2.5, but that addition in and of itself, I think, almost catapults this deck up like almost the whole tier. Like, I wouldn't call it a top tier deck because I think it is still like very pilot oriented.
Yeah.
There's a very, very steep learning curve in terms of sequencing your unsuspends and sequencing your Vortex and your, your Shoto plays and whatnot. But I think when you have a good pilot, it is a really, really strong deck that can do a lot of aggression and board control at the same time. I do like the addition of Starter Deck Rapid because of the Digivolve and immunity that you can get from it, or pseudo-immunity, I guess, if you want to call it that. I'm opting for Argomon in mind just for the free Evo and being able to play out level 3s, but I definitely see the benefit to Rapid. The fact that Medieval Gallant is an in-archetype card for this deck is also really, really strong. It's a 3-cost Evo that pairs perfectly with Shoto, which again is really, really good. And then you just kind of round it out with your typical Shoto lineup. And then their kind of consistency with boost, trainings, and scramble.
Yeah.
They are including one of the promo Shoto, which is interesting. Get to play out a Terramon, gain a memory. Not sure how much that came up per se, but I mean, it's definitely an interesting choice. And yeah, like I said, the biggest addition to this is just the Zephaga Ace, which is a cracked card.
Yeah.
Pair that with Medieval Gallant, I mean, the top ends for this deck go crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And the protections you can give Zephagamon to set up for the ace play too is really nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this deck. A lot of really, really cool stuff.
Agreed.
Okay, we'll scoot on. Also, if you heard that little sound effect, that was somebody subscribing to the channel as we're going. So you wouldn't have heard it, Ben, but I heard
Okay.
it.
Well, thank you, whoever did that.
Yes, sir. Okay, moving on. Next up, we have Chronicle. This deck was run by Brick Boys at a Tamer battle. Got first place out of 15. I'm gonna go quicker. Sorry, I was really excited about Accel stuff, and there's so much. It's all new cards, but I'll try and be quicker with this one. We're running old Doru or old Ryuda. That's old news. I'm not going to spend too much longer on that, or too long on that. We have the old BT-13 Doraemon, which if you have 4 more Digivolution cards, draw 1. It's nice. Awesome. Chronicle is really cool. There's a lot of really neat stuff it can do. The ability to sort of just Giga Warp up from your 4 up to your 6, and have protections or be like huge in DP, Digivolve stuff, recover things, minus DP, like there's a lot of really cool effects that you can get out of it. The biggest issue is that you really need to see the Tamer, because if you don't see the Tamer, you kind of just play this deck like a very vanilla, like almost like it feels like a deck that is maybe in the wrong like set. Like it feels like an older deck if you do not have the Tamer set up.
Sure.
But the new Grimmy and Raptor are really cool with helping you climb and playing out Tamers. New Sharyu for the extra damage and the extra DP, the Greymon for the protections, the ability to play out rookies to your empty breeding area when you evo into your 5s is really neat. Or and Alpha are both great cards also for letting you sort of like evo that card in the back and get it set up to help you with like ramping up to your DNA play. Is really good. It's very easy to set up multiple stacks to threaten ace plays with this deck as well. Something I have learned. I think Yuji's a really good pick for this deck because you are kind of swinging, so being able to tuck in the extra sources for DP, or just like the extra redirect inheritable, is really nice. The new new rare Tamer with the Kota Yuji is a really good Tamer. It is needed for the deck. There is a part of me, and we've talked about this before, that I really wish that it worked with X Anybody trait cards. I understand that would be busted. Maybe if it was a black X Anybody trait card, so it couldn't be used for something like Fenry or something like that. That's maybe a bit busted, or like other decks outside of it. And it was more designed specifically for like Alpha and Oryu, stuff like that. But it is specifically only works with Chronicle trait cards, so it makes it pretty much restricted to just this deck. Which I mean, it's fine. I guess it makes it so the card won't be ever too expensive. So that's nice.
Yeah.
And then with just a couple of other like neat tech choices here with the Lapless Demon, which just basically just forces your opponent into letting you set up the ace play. It can be really nice to pass turn with. It makes sense. BT-9 Antibody is a really good card in this deck for just helping you evo up your line faster if you aren't seeing the Tamer. But you are seeing Ginryu, for example, or if you are seeing a Tamer and no Ginryu, it helps you out there. The new Chronicle option is pretty cool. You do have to be careful and make sure that you can't push up your BT7 Doru or your BT9 Ryuda or BT8 Ryuda rather, because they're not Chronicle trait. It only works on Chronicle trait cards to be pushed up. But it's a good search. The fact that you can stack your deck however you want, depending on the cards you reveal, is really nice. And it's a good security effect too, to be able to kind of just play out your Tamer or play out Digimon and have a bit of a comeback potential. Is good. So yeah, it's a cool deck. I'm excited to mess around with it more. Hopefully we get other like alpha pieces that work well for it, or maybe I'm gonna test a lot with it, so hopefully I can figure some other stuff out with it too. Get it a little bit more solved, so it's more consistent with seeing what it wants to do. But anyways, moving on. Next up,
moving on, we've got Jin from JP, another Tamer battle, got first place in a pool of 16, which is great. Congrats. And we've got Royal Knights. So Royal Knights I think we highlighted this a little bit in the other video, so I won't spend too much time on it. Is going to be definitely making a resurgence. The new Omegamon is a really strong card for the archetype, along with the new Omnimon X Antibody. 2 cards that I think single-handedly propel this deck almost to like probably top of tier 1.5, if not close to tier 1 in my opinion. Because they both just do so much for the deck, and Omni X, just any deck that can use Omni X, I think we're gonna see this card abused pretty rampantly amongst the meta, just because it's so good. Raid,
strong.
piercing, blocker, on play and on Evo, you could basically delete stuff, board wipe, return stuff to bottom deck, and then you can swing without suspending. Like, what more could you ask for in like a finisher?
Yes.
So definitely something to watch out for. You do get some other Royal Knight pieces as well, which is really cool to see, like the new Jessamon. It's gonna be interesting. You know, you do get to play tamer or not tamers tokens, that have reboot, blocker, and decoy. So again, like pretty helpful for keeping, I guess, your Royal Knights on the board, which is one of the, I guess, the banes of Royal Knights, if you want to put it that way. Where if you can get rid of their stuff, it definitely like sets them back another turn or two. So tokens that have blocker and decoy can be helpful in helping your body stick a little bit, and it offers some board removal too with DP reduction and popping. So I think a pretty good card there. And then you kind of sprinkle your typical lineup of like Genkus, I think, which is a really good card for Royal Knights, the Leopard Mons, the Rush Gallants. Interesting to see the Crimson Mode Ace and the Oryukin Ace. It makes sense because Drazzle just stops you from evoing during your turn. But during your opponent's turn, I mean, you're throwing out level 6s left and right, and a lot of them are red. So these are great ace cards that could, again, just really control the game for you. The Oryukin Ace is really, really good. I really like this card as a generic, like, top-end ace threat for a lot of these decks.
Well, you can't really use its ace for this because you don't have Alpha and Oryu.
Oh, true.
But it's more so.
But you would like Evo on. It would be just another target.
You wouldn't know though. So the way this card works, it's another card that you can hard play just to kind of nuke something. It's something that works really well in tangent with the Omnimon play when you play it out, because you can play this out and just gain extra memory.
Right.
Security getting hit.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You know, there's a lot of cool things that this deck likes to do, and you know, I think gonna be cool to see Royal Knights come back. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a deck that it's just, I think it would be nice to have another Megazoo deck in the mix that isn't Demon Lords. You know, just have something to kind of to.
I will say, and it does have a pretty good matchup against Demon Lords. So anything that'll get a Guido out of my life, I will take it.
Okay, we'll move on.
All right, all you.
Next one, we have Necromon here that was run by Yoshinoya. Got first place at Tamer Battle. Apologies that there's no pictures here for the Reaper and the Necro. I don't know why the images aren't loading on this, but I don't know if I can click it. Nope, it's not gonna work. They're gone. I'll just put it up on card app. But the new Ghost stuff is really cool. If you want to see a more in-depth look at a lot of the stuff, you can actually look at our deck profile that should go live. It should be live right now because this is gonna be going live to members. Or this will be public, and the profile would have came out 2 days ago. That we did with Curiosity. Fantastic content creator. If you have not checked her out, you absolutely should. Make sure to like and subscribe to her. But yeah, Ghost stuff is really cool. I'm very interested in it. I like this whole new execute keyword. This is really, really neat. Let me see if I can bring it up here. If it comes up on the cards, if I just type in execute, it does. Sick. Yeah, with the new Phantommon having it, just being able to sort of push that aggression and then, like, still be able to, in tangent with the round deletion effects, to maintain a board presence is really, really cool, especially in tangent with the new option as well, that we have access to. That I don't know if they're running it in here. They're not. Okay.
Which is interesting, because it is a really, really strong option.
Yeah, it does seem very powerful. But Necromon himself is just a really good card. Being able to just like be like generic deletion, have security attack +1 is just really strong. I think Ghost has a lot of potential. I think that's the biggest sort of like roadblock for it. And I think you told me that you talked about this with Kiri as well. Is the fact that we don't have many level 5s that have the Ghost trait. We really only have this Metal Phanto and then the Phantommon. Sorry, not Reaper.
Metal and Phantom. There's like an older Phantommon that's like a vanilla.
Yeah, it's like a vanilla, but that's you don't want that,
much,
right?
You know?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I had ideas about like running Chimera because you have a lot of low cost level 4s and stuff in here, which I think is some neat stuff. But you know, overall, I think the deck has a lot of potential. As we get any Ghost cards, I think it'll just work as support for this deck. So definitely keep an eye on this deck. It's something that I think it's worth like getting the pieces for. Even if it's not good right now, I think it has a lot of potential in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Liberator deck, right? And I think moving forward, Bandai has shown that it's going to be showing love to a lot of the Liberator characters. You know, we've got a lot of the Protag stuff from EX8. Shoto's only going to get more support. I'm sure Ghost is going to get more support. Sendril has been sort of left in the dust, but I'm sure it'll get support soon enough.
Yeah, we'll get.
So they're definitely going to be pushing it.
I think EX9 was supposed to get more Liberator
Yep.
support. I think that's already been confirmed. And then I think BT-22 is also confirmed to have more Liberator support too. So it's you know, it's their current ongoing like series for Digi. It's actually really good too. It's a pretty fun read. So you know, the Liberator stuff, please. I love it. I think it's great for the game.
I think it's good. Yeah.
Overall.
More purple.
I mean, this at least is, you know.
No, this is fun. This is really fun.
This is fun. It's a little bit more.
I do enjoy.
It's honest
and
purple.
It's cool to see.
All right.
It is honest purple.
It ain't much, but it's honest work. All right. But yeah, that's gonna be all our lists that we have for you guys today. Again, sorry we kind of ran a bit longer here. That's my fault. That is entirely my fault. That's my bad. My bald-headed, stupid-headed, bad beard-looking butt face needs to be better about time management. But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you liked any of these lists, let us know down below. If you have any ideas, any thoughts about them, let us know down below. Again, if you have lists that you want to see in other videos, please let us know. We just want to interact with you. Tell us what you want. Give us your secrets. But yeah, that'll about do it for us. If you got this far and you haven't already liked the video, do that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do that. And like I mentioned before, check out Kiri as well, and just show the love to other content creators in the community. You know, Digimon is it's a pretty awesome community, in my opinion. We're pretty sick. We're pretty cool. Pretty cool folks. So make sure to spread the love. Not about to do it. That's gonna about do it. Say the line. Say it. This is what.
We'll catch you on that flippy flip. Bye.
Bye. It's like I got a gun to your head.